Hey everybody, it's Tasha. So we made it through a long summer and we are exactly 1 day away from a new season of Arrow. And after the new sizzle reel, I am pretty optimistic that the writers are going to give us another really great season. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it in the description box. But this video isn't a breakdown of that trailer. It's just me throwing out a few things that I expect to happen this season and a few things on my wish list, but it's in no particular order. So first up is the villain. If you've seen my Arrow villains ranked video, then you know that the villain is super important to me. And I'm glad that this season they're sticking to the multiple villain idea. It worked well for the show last season, and it's worked well on other shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I don't want it to be rushed. I felt like last season they could have explored Tobias Church a bit more, so I hope that this season they really dig in and develop Richard Dragon and Caden James and explain their motives. As for our villainess, Black Siren, I really do not want a redemption arc for this character. I would prefer if she built her own evil incorporation. No more working as a lackey for guys like Zoom or Chase. I know I probably won't get my wish, and she won't stay wholly evil, but I don't want her to be good either. I don't need Kate Cassidy to be playing Black Siren, who is playing at trying to be Black Canary. She didn't work for me as the Canary the first time because I just didn't buy her hero's journey, and I don't think it'll work for me now. I honestly think the actress excels at being evil. She's having fun with the part, and it shows. So I don't want them to push her back into a box. I prefer if she become a Merlin type of character, someone who is self-serving, but maybe has one vice. For Malcolm, it was Thea, and for her, it can be Lance. While I'm on the subject of Lance, I really want him to have more screen time this season. Paul Blackthorne is an excellent actor, but I think they've been struggling with what to do with him. For me, what worked best last season was his relationship with Renee. He essentially lost both his daughters, and in Renee, he found a son. Someone who needed his support and guidance, and that really worked. It helped make Renee a more relatable and enjoyable character. So I hope this season they decide to lean into that. As for other members of the team, like Dinah, I really just want more of her, which I'm sure we're going to get based off the promos. And I need more of her and Dig. I think they really have a great friendship blossoming and wonderful chemistry, much like he had with Laurel. Honestly, David Ramsey just has great chemistry with everyone. And his is a storyline I'm really curious about. I'm wondering if he's going to have burns or some other kind of physical impairment, like losing a limb as one of the consequences of the explosions on Lian Yu. And I'm really curious as to whether or not they're going to go the way of the comic and have Richard Dragon be hunting Oliver because of something that Diggle did while he was wearing the hood. And since I've already mentioned Oliver, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I'm really looking forward to seeing him juggle being a parent, the mayor, and the Arrow. I think that was one of my favorite parts of the earlier seasons, having him juggle his daytime life and his nightlife. And his character has really come a long way. Just like everyone else, he's evolved. So it'll be interesting to see him try to tackle his new reality. My only real major want for Oliver this season is more trick arrows. The action part is the most enjoyable part of Arrow for me. So I want to see them showcase that more. Showcase that he is an amazing archer and have fun with it. More boxing glove arrows and parachute arrows. And can we please get more training scenes? Oliver and Diggle training in the first few seasons and the team training in season 5 were some of my favorite moments. And since I'm already working my way through the team, I'm just going to stop on Curtis. I really want the Arrow writers to make him a more competent character in the field and to tone down the silliness of this character. I get it. He's the comic relief. And he usually does really well with that, but there are times when it just doesn't fit. Like in the finale, everyone's life is in danger. There's a child being held hostage. So the whole fantasy island, the plane boss, the plane moment really just felt out of place, especially when it comes after a scene where Thea is trying to come to terms with the death of her father. I want them to keep his character grounded and focused on creating better tech. I'm hoping that this ties in to Felicity and her starting her own company. I really enjoyed the dynamic of Felicity and Curtis when they were working together at Palmer Tech, so I want more of that. I'm also really interested to see where the whole Caden James Helix storyline goes this season, especially since the actor slated to play the part is absolutely amazing. So having Felicity build her own company, face off against Helix, reconcile things with Oliver, that should keep her character really busy. Now, before people start complaining, Felicity is back. It's a thing. Just deal with it. People like to blame Felicity shippers for the writers focusing on this pairing, but at the end of the day, that's ridiculous. They were going to do it anyway. They started shifting away from comic canon so early on in this season. And after 4 seasons of them dancing around this couple, if they don't follow through on it, then that's just lazy writing and a lack of continuity. Plus, I can guarantee you that there isn't a single shipper who enjoyed the hot mess that was the back half of season 4. As I've said in other videos, I enjoy this pairing when it's done well. The issue with season 4 wasn't just Olicity. As far as I'm concerned, season 3, if Oliver and Felicity had been together, it would have added more weight to the sacrifice that Oliver made when he decided to join the League. And it would have made all the tears and sadness from Felicity feel more earned. And in season 4, it wasn't when they were together that was a problem. It was when they broke up. And the writers chose to focus on the destruction of that relationship in 3 different episodes when that screen time would have been better served giving us backstory on Damien Dark. Rather than that Cupid episode that took every viewer, shipper and non-shipper alike on a 40-minute ride on the misery train, I would have preferred a flashback episode of Damien Dark training with Roz to become the heir, or even an episode showing what happened when he escaped the League and started Hive. Now, don't get me wrong. I fully understand what the writers were trying to do. They wanted to break them apart so Oliver's 5-year arc would begin and end with a father and son. And they wanted to have Felicity face her own crucible. I just don't think it was executed well. So here's hoping that this new season has no pointless melodrama. That needs to be done. No more Oliver lying to the one woman he's always been the most honest with, and no more Felicity walking out on the man that she has always stood by his side. I want the writers to give me actions and dialogue that's authentic to the characters that we've grown to know and love. So my last big wish is Roy Harper. Colton Hayes had come out and said that he wants to return to the show, but he is working on other projects. And the character for Roy Harper to return to Star City, it's a big risk because he's supposed to be dead. So I would absolutely love it if they brought him back on the crossover as Earth 10 Roy Harper, preferably him being Prometheus. To me, that would be the perfect way to bring this character back without risking the continuity or the storyline from Earth 1's Roy Harper. So what do you guys think? Do you want Roy to come back during the crossover, or would you prefer he come back towards the end of the season to help Oliver face off against Richard Dragon and all his partners? And is there anything in particular that you want out of the new season of Arrow? besides Slade Wilson, all the Slade Wilson we can get.